talk. I gotta tell what I feel. I gotta talk about my life as I see it.
Biggie.
What's good people? Welcome back to another episode of Life with your boy Tyler. I appreciate everybody tuning in to yet another Worthy Wednesday. So as you can tell from the title, this is my personal review of the movie The Black Panther. And just as a precaution, this is a spoiler alert. If you haven't seen the movie, please do not watch this video because I'm not holding back. I'm not beating around the bush. I'm just going to tell exactly what happened in the movie and what I saw. So now that that's out the way, let's get right into the review. So what I'm going to get into in this video is just some of the underlying messages that was conveyed to me through this movie and just the overarching thing that I got from it. And just other opinions and thoughts that were sparked as a result of watching this movie. So right in the beginning of the movie, you see that there's like a narration of a story happening where like a meteorite strikes the country of Wakanda where, you know, the Black Panther is from and where the whole movie takes place. A meteorite strikes that continent, and I guess what's within that meteorite is vibranium, and it ingrains itself into the earth, and then it actually like spreads and affects the whole entire country with vibranium, but in a positive way because it's such a powerful resource and it's a powerful metal that can be used for various things. You know, it powers their towns, it powers all of their technology. It is responsible for all of their technological advances and so much more. They even mentioned in the movie how they sew it into their clothes. It's a very powerful resource, and to me that message, the message sent with that is just how Africa is naturally the most resource-rich country on this earth, and it always has been. You know, and that's part of the reason why, you know, ever since white people have come to this earth, they have been stealing resources from Africa because it's the most resource-rich place on the earth. If I know that gold and diamonds and oil, all of these and everything else, I forget the type of metal that's needed, that's in every cell phone that we have today. Like without this technology, cell phones wouldn't exist. But like so much things come from our earth, from our land, that can create profit and wealth for the rest of the world. Of course people gonna be like, gimme. Hey, I want a piece of that, I want a piece of that, I want a piece of that. So I'm just glad that this movie was able to bring such an awareness to people who might not have known this. Obviously, there's a conscious community out there of black people and African people, you know, that knows certain things, that have some sense of knowledge of self. But there's a great majority of the people who are of African descent who have no clue, no knowledge of self whatsoever. You know, they're just walking through life blindly, if you will. So I'm just glad that this was kind of a gateway for people who are, you know, quote unquote, blind to certain realities and certain truths. It was a gateway for them to see something new. So another thing that I saw was the divide amongst African people, meaning people who come directly from a country in Africa, meaning they were born there, and they might have come over here, or maybe they haven't, maybe they're still over there. And then African American people who obviously descend from Africa, but were born here in the United States. Obviously, it's not a secret that, you know, some African people who were born in Africa don't like African American people, so-called African American people, for whatever reason, for various reasons. They think that they're not a representation of Africa or African people, and that, you know, African American people are lazy and they work hard and they're not as smart over here in America, but over in Africa they prioritize education. So many things, but what you got to realize is that the reason why such a divide or such an understanding of one another exists like that is because of the media. The things that are portrayed in the media are what ultimately influences people to think a certain way. It's always been like that. That was a tactic that Hitler used to basically hypnotize everybody in that country and to submit to his will. It's the same way. That's why media is such a big thing. That's why we have TV every fucking where. We can watch TV on our phones. We got the radio advertising shit to us. We got TV at home, you know, and so much shit. We got TV on our watches and shit now. Like, it's just everywhere because it's influencing our minds. It's called programming for a reason. It's programming. So that has been the main factor in why Africans view African Americans or black people in America in that way or in a certain way. So I think it speaks to that, and I thought that was a great inclusion. Another thing that I really liked, or another character that I really liked, was Michael B. Jordan's character, Eric Killmonger. The reason why I like his part is because, to me, his part represents millennial black people. You know, people like me, you know, who are the Generation Y, you know, but we're called millennials. And we are in America, black people in America, black millennials in America. And why I say that is because his character was more of a rebellious character. You know, he was the one, he had a very conscious mindset. The things that came out of his mouth, you could just tell that he didn't think like anybody else, or most people. For example, when he was at the art gallery and looking for the vibranium piece that was, you know, that was stolen, but it was inside of a museum, and he was asking about it, and the lady gave him some information about the piece, and he said, "Nah, you're wrong." He said, "Nah, this is vibranium. This comes from Wakanda, my country, or whatever he said. I don't know what he said exactly, but something like that. It does not come from where you say it comes from, and it's not what it is with this explanation that you give me. I know exactly what it is." And he said, "Don't worry though, I'm gonna get it." And she said, "Oh, it's not for sale." He said, "It's not for sale. Did your people pay a fair price for it?" And he's basically letting you know that white people are responsible for stealing every fucking thing that Africa has ever had, that African people generally have had. White people have something to do with its riddance. Point blank, period. So I like that. And then even at the end, you know, when he was dying and King T'Challa was trying to save him, he even said the quote that like, "No, bury me in the ocean with my ancestors," because even they knew that death was better than bondage. It's just like quotes like that just shows how conscious he was about certain things. And his anger, he was so angry because he was left out, he was left behind. And so all he had to grasp onto was his people that he had back at home, back in Oakland where he was from. So it's like, y'all doing all of this, y'all living lavishly up here in Wakanda, and it's like y'all left me down here to suffer with the rest of my people. So all he had to grasp onto was his people. So he was angry, like most millennials are. Not saying that we angry, but we get angry about certain things. We get passionate about certain things because we don't have any other way to express it. And when you're deprived of so much, how else do you know how to express yourself? It's not going to be in a gentle way all the time, you know? So I really like that representation of us, and at least that's my perspective. Another thing is the portrayal of the God and Goddess aspect of African people. What I think that was simply the power of the Black Panther. When he was fed the purple juice from the flowers that they were cropping, that's what gave him his powers to be able to save his people and protect his people and do so many things, so many supernatural things. That just showed that we are gods. Even though they didn't use the terms God or goddess in the movie, not that I know of, not that I can recall, it still was speaking to our supernatural abilities that we don't realize that we have. We are God. You know, God is within us. We are a part of God. We are made in God's image. We have the power to create and the power to destroy. We have so much power that we don't even realize that we possess. So I think it spoke to our God-like abilities without saying it. You know, it was kind of indirect. So with the technology that they had, obviously it was like some amazing things that they had, some things that we've never even seen or even thought of. And, you know, it just speaks to the technological advances that Africa has always had and been known for. For example, they say in Kemet, in ancient Egypt, or Kemet, they had so much technological advancement, way advanced, far more advanced than what we have today. You know, what we have today, everybody feels that this is the future. It's like, oh, we got robots and shit like that, da 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 da. They said what was had back then in Egypt and Kemet was far more advanced than what we can perceive today. And I'm talking about even things that we have today that we feel like was only created today, such as laptops or, aircraft. It's been known to they have had that way back then. I'm talking hundreds of thousands of years ago. Like, it was already done. And just like it says, just like they say, nothing new is under the sun. Nothing new is under the sun. That's why certain trends come back after so long, because everything recycles, everything repeats itself. Nothing is new under the sun. It may seem new, we may perceive certain things to be new, but in actuality, a lot of things have already existed, and it's just an innovation of that, or just a new way of it, So I really love that part, to show how advanced we are and we have always been as a country due to our rich resources. Also, we are connected to God, the universe. That's who we communicate with. And that's how they say the pyramids in Africa were created. Because white people they were trying to figure out for so long, how did these creations, how did these big monuments and pyramids come to an existence? How did they build these things? They can't figure it out, but it's because we were granted the knowledge to do that through the universe, the God of the universe. We were granted that knowledge because we are not physical beings, we are spiritual beings. That's how we communicate with the universe, with God, through our minds. So yeah, that was dope to me. Another thing that I really like is the whole royal family structure. The hierarchy of the king and then so forth down. I like that because it shows where we come from as kings and queens. That's always been in our bloodline, royalty. I just like the whole respect factor. Everybody respects one another the same way. Everybody respects one another. And it's not like because you're the king, you get more respect. What you do, probably technically you do get more respect, but it's like everybody has respect for one another in their positions. I just like that structure because it just shows that royalty does exist amongst black people. And it's not just like, for example, The Crown. I watched the show The Crown on Netflix, and it just portrays their royal structure, their royal family, over there in England. It's just a great perspective, and I'm just glad to see that portrayed, for people who may not know. Like I said, for black people who may not know that was a thing, that we were kings and queens, that we had that structure. We probably invented, we did invent that structure of royalty and kings and queens. So it's like, I'm just glad for that to be portrayed to people who may not know that. And last but not least, this is my least favorite part though. The CIA agent, the white guy, Cloud, I forget his name. I think his name might have been Cloud. I don't know if that was the evil bad guy, the evil white guy, or the quote-unquote good one. But one thing I didn't like about the white CIA agent's character or role is, one, the fact that they put him in there. And then secondly, his role, as a CIA agent, him working with T'Challa or whatever, but also him quote-unquote taking a bullet for Lupita. It just shows that, okay, white people do have some interest in black people's savior, or white people are the savior of black people. I don't like that. That's what I get from it, okay? So that's one thing I don't like about it. And then they took him back to Wakanda. Wakanda is supposed to be a sacred and secret place. In the beginning they said we want to hide in plain sight because we don't want our discoveries to be widespread and then people come steal it from us. Because that's what happens. That's what's always happened in history. But why would you bring this white CIA agent back to y'all secret place where y'all have all the resources and y'all have everything that the world envies right now just to save his life? I mean, it don't make sense to me. And then the fact when he woke up and he's like looking around and he's like, so this is Wakanda. Oh, okay. Like, it's like he just wasn't amazed. As if he's seen something like this before. No, the fuck you haven't. You ain't seen no shit like this before. But you want to act so, like, they had him just portrayed like, oh, I'm a CIA agent. Okay, I never seen this before, but it's like, it's not that amazing. Yes, the fuck it is. You know it is. Yeah, that part was just kind of like, it kind of bothered me. So I was like, okay. And then on top of that, the princess, I forget her name, but King T'Challa's little sister, the one who's responsible for all the technology there in Wakanda, she was eager to show him like, yeah, so this is what this is, da 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 da, this is that, da da da, this is what I do, da 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 da, and he was kind of unimpressed, and and it just shows like how black people are so quick to tell all of our secrets or everything that we know to white people because we feel like they are the most worthy of knowing such a thing. It's like they're gonna accept us if they know that what we're capable of. If you know that I'm smart and that I'm responsible for all of these things that I'm creating, oh, maybe you'll look at me in a different light. Maybe you'll offer me a job. Maybe you'll do this, da 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 da. Maybe I'm invited to one of your meetings or some shit. But it's like, no, like I don't like that part. And last but not least, the worst part was at the end, and this was after the credits, so they made the credits roll, blah, 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 but you know, if you stayed there, you see this part. King T'Challa was saying that he was apologizing for hoarding all of their secrets and hoarding all of their technology and their discoveries, and that they're going to share it with the world. And it's basically in part due to Michael B. Jordan's character, and then the white CIA agent. And it's like, why, bro? Like, that just speaks to what Malcolm X was talking about, the infiltration of the black community, the black movement. You know, he talked about his analogy of the black coffee. When you make coffee, it's black, right? And what is it supposed to do? When you drink it black, it's super strong, it's hot, you know, and it does what it needs to do. But what do we like to do? We like to add cream, okay? Now it's getting a little lighter. We like to add some sugar too. Oh, now it's real lighter. And guess what? It's not as strong, it's not as potent, and it doesn't do the job that it's supposed to do as well as it can. And now we just left with a cup of weak coffee, and that's the infiltration of white people into black business. And it's like we will never get anything done as long as we include them. We have to learn how to do things in secret, behind closed doors, amongst ourselves. Are we allowed in on their secret meetings? Are black people allowed into elite members of this society's meetings? Are they in meetings with the Rothschilds? Are they in meetings with the owners of Coca-Cola companies? Hell no. No. So why the fuck do we feel like we gotta have white people all up in our shit? But that's my rant, that's my review. I hope y'all enjoyed that. Overall, like I said, I give the movie an A-. I think it's a great movie. I think the cast was spot on. You know, I think their acting abilities are great. You know, I think the visuals, you know, that Marvel provides are great, and they were spot on. The images they're great. And Ryan Coogler, the director, he did a great job, an amazing job. And I'm just pleased with the overall cast and everything. But like I said, I give it an A-, and that's a great rating, I would think. So I appreciate y'all tuning in to this video, watching this. Make sure y'all like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and maybe leave some comments on what your favorite parts were of the movie, or some of the messages that were relayed to you from this movie if you've seen it already. So as always, stay worthy. Never let nobody tell you what you can't do in this world, because they be lying to you. It's your boy Tyler, and I'm out. Wakanda forever. Peace. Stay black.